Tillamook did not start here in Tillamook. The tactics are nationwide and they're used against the homeless. Every homeless person has to be afraid of this. Somebody in a house goes in with one of their friends to turn something in. That's okay. If it's a homeless person, they don't allow it. They'll make any excuse. I'm in the Safeway parking lot. I don't like it here. I watched a police officer, without saying a word, get out of his vehicle, run up to a 14-year-old girl, get a running start with her into the side of his fucking vehicle. That asswipe was with the sheriff's department. The gentleman I spoke with the other night, who was looking for Eric something or other, works for the sheriff's department. Now, he was nice. However, with me trying to turn that in, that is a public safety issue. How am I supposed to feel safe anywhere in America when all of our cops are Nazi SS? Now, you may say, hey, Sean, that's some way out there crazy stuff that you're saying there, but you know what? It's not. These assholes are acting with impunity. They are murdering my people. They're assaulting little girls in parking lots. And none of you fucking care. How many people live in this shithole of a town? And how many of them have allowed the predators to get away? That would be all of them. That would be every single witness. Every single one of them. These assholes know that for a homeless person, it is impossible. They know that a homeless person doesn't have the money for a civil lawyer. And there aren't enough pro bono lawyers. You guys seem to think that 9 out of 10 lawyers work for free. That ain't how it is. 99 out of every 100 lawyers are gonna fucking throw you to the wolves if you're a homeless male. That's as simple as it is. When Jamie got punched in the back of the head while trying to get away from her predator, I caught that on film, didn't I? I also caught that 14-year-old girl here in Tillamook being assaulted by a sheriff's deputy. But nobody here cares. Nobody here gives a shit. Police officer wants to beat on a homeless person, go ahead. Police officer wants to beat on a 14-year-old girl, go ahead. He made no announcement, nothing. That officer was obviously friends with that young woman's parents. Those parents stood there and watched that little girl get bounced off of a fucking police cruiser. And I'm supposed to feel safe with these fucking porkers nationwide? That little girl got lucky. She got lucky because if she had been a homeless male adult, he'd have beaten the fuck out of her. Aggression issues. Children have no fucking rights in this country. If you stand up to your predators, you will be taken to a hospital and fucking drugged. What they did to that girl was already decided. They already knew that they were going to pull the mentally ill bullshit on her. They already knew that they were going to victimize her. They had decided before they showed up. And then the police here assisted that that sheriff's department deputy with getting away with that assault. I can't use my phone to record for my safety and use it to show the evidence. This is a major problem. This has been a major problem. This is why I try to meet up at a place where I can sit down and show them the evidence. But of course, when the officers that you're trying to turn in are the investigators investigating themselves, they're going to commit felonies to cover it up. Officer Amanda Jonas committed felonies in Longmont, Colorado to assist my predators, primarily the Bollingers, including Alicia Bollinger, Ted Bollinger, Danica Garner. Sorry about that, my alarm's going off. I keep getting told I need to move elsewhere. I need to move elsewhere. Hey, help me turn in these fucking crimes. Well, you need to move. You need to move. You need to move away from these people. You can't! When your name has been slandered and continues to be slandered across the internet worldwide, no, do not get to pretend that I am fucking schizophrenic and delusional. Look it up! Look it up! Now, with all of these people who I tell, hey, you need to look this up, they don't. I have to fucking walk them through it. A lot of these people pretended to be, well, like they were gonna do their fucking jobs. It is their jobs. They are breaking the law by not doing their jobs as mandated reporters. And you, the American people, you deserve to be news. You're gonna let that happen because it's not happening to you. We the people means we're all in this together. Which means if you're gonna look the other way to crimes being committed against me, you deserve to have those crimes committed against you. So you know how it fucking feels, you pieces of shit. Those of you who don't want to bother to find out what's going on or look at evidence, you just want to believe what you're fucking told, don't waste my fucking time. Don't pretend like you're going to help me when you have no intention of fucking doing so. If it takes you 2 weeks, I can understand. I can. If it takes you 2 weeks to come forward because of all the stuff with your kids or because your grandma died or whatever, that is understandable. But when you know that a man who is innocent is being victimized and you make every excuse the other way, you are a fucking piece of shit. That ain't a friend thing to do. That's a coward thing to do. Now I get to hear from a lot of y'all how I should think and how I should feel. You have no fucking clue what's going on. Alright, you listen to web sleuth groups and fucking druggies. Why didn't you look at evidence before getting on and fucking harassing me? If you get on to even just tell me that you're sorry, I do consider that harassment. At this point, absolutely. Don't tell me how fucking sorry you are. It's obvious how pathetic and sorry you are. It's obvious. You're saying you're sorry. I don't need you to tell me that. You're making no efforts to do anything about the situation. You're making no efforts to look at evidence. This is just entertainment to you. You want to ask me questions, but then again, you're not going to look at any of the evidence. None of you do. None of you. You don't fucking care. It's entertainment. Beyond that, you're not going to do shit. But my predators have been active this whole time. And you want to spout pretty words at me like they're going to fucking fix it. Holy shit, that is a fucking straight line to stupid. What the fuck are you shooting up? Stupid pills? Looks like someone's typing at me. Oh, it's another fucking spammer. So what do we do with these ass wipes? We take a screenshot of it. And then we blam. Hide user on this channel. You see how easy that is? And the ass wipe's gone. That fucking easy. If I had the ability to safely make phone calls and record them at the same time, things would be a lot different. But with all of my resources going to people who aren't showing up repeatedly, that fucks me severely. And there's a lot of these people who said that they would help. A lot of these people who said that they would come forward. They would help me to turn it in. None of them, not a single one of them, has helped me to turn it in. They're fucking witnesses. Yes, they can help me to fucking turn it in. Also, I've told a lot of people in this town about that little girl getting assaulted, and none of them give a shit. Not one of them. Now, as far as Scott goes, I really do expect him to not keep his word. I don't think he's capable. That's not something that I'm going to hate him for. If he was going to come forward, he would have done it already. If Jason was going to come forward, he would have done it already. If Dallas was going to come forward, he would have done it already. When people say they're gonna, and then they procrastinate for this long. You know, here's the thing. Like I said with Scott, with the situation over there, you know, he tells me about his friends, the cops that come through, and what he heard, but I don't have any proof or evidence of anything that he's saying. He was saying she was arrested for theft, and he was saying she was opening alcohol bottles in the store, and that she was breaking stuff over at the Safeway, and someone got hurt or injured. I ain't heard none of that from anybody else, just from Scott. Now that's the treatment I expect from pretty much everybody when they say that they're going to come forward and tell the truth, when they're a witness to the situation. They blow me off, and then, of course, when I bring it up, hey, you know, are you going to help me turn this in? Oh, well, the cops did this and the cops did that. The cops ain't done shit. The cops ain't done shit. Telling me cops this and cops that. No, the cops in this town are my fucking predators. That's why I need you to go in with me for my safety. Caleb's here this morning. Very nice feller. But the other thing that I got to pay attention to is that Scott, well, he's got his own issues and he doesn't mind admitting to them. He doesn't mind talking about it. You know, obviously he knew he was being recorded. He still talked about being diagnosed with schizophrenic. And that's something that is important to know. was able to travel around a bit last night, pick up some change. I'm only about 31 cents short of getting McDonald's coffee. Figured I'd cruise through the park and see if there was any quarters or pennies. There's a darker feller there at the McDonald's. Oh, apparently I went the wrong way. There's a truck unloading here on the gardening stuff, so I gotta turn around and go the other way, which is fine. I don't mind. I'm not exactly a road rager. I'll curse. Damn sure if somebody cuts me off in a way that could have led to somebody to death, yeah, that'd piss me off. Now, one of the things with all these folks, I do understand that they have their own lives and they have their own families. I also understand that if I saw that shit happen to any one of them, it wouldn't take me over a month to help turn it in. I'd speak up immediately. I always do. If there's a situation where I'm not speaking up immediately, then it means that there is a safety issue and it could get that person killed. Getting somebody killed is not my idea of a good fucking time. Natalie Bollinger tried to get me killed. Thought that if she, after getting busted with heroin on my birthday, thought that if she played victim, then lo and behold, she wouldn't get in trouble over that heroin. No, she still got in trouble. Her family definitely thought less of her after that. Of course, you'd think that being as they're a bunch of fucking junkies themselves, that they would understand. No, they want her to understand them and their addiction, and that it's not their fault. They're an addict. No, it absolutely is your fucking fault. Between your kids and your drugs, you loved your drugs more. I guess that's actually not your fault. You love what you love. That's how it is. Some people love cocaine. Some people love their families. Some people conceptually love their families, but in reality love their cocaine. Some people have kids and they abuse their kids. Some of them even have their kids pretend to be disabled so that they can get money to go buy more fucking cocaine. Of course, nowadays it's not cocaine, is it? It's meth. Meanwhile, if I go in by myself, it's their word versus mine, and we cannot allow that. We cannot have that. Or my predators get away, no matter what. They just call me mentally ill and get away with it. Officers take advantage of you and harm you and get away with it because of your disabilities, because you're autistic. The cops already knew I was autistic. They already knew I had Tourette syndrome, just like Natalie did. But Natalie didn't say that, did she? She didn't say he's got Asperger's. She didn't say he's got Tourette's. She said he's mentally ill. And that's the problem, is that when you've got an at-risk adult being victimized, they don't have any fucking rights. Your family wants to rape you. Your dad decides that he's gonna pull a Ted Bollinger on you. Your dad decides he's gonna fuck you like a sick, perverted fuck. But he's gonna get away with it, isn't he? He's gonna call you mentally ill. Just like the cops pulling the same bullshit. He's mentally ill, he's mentally ill. That doesn't mean no crime was committed. Calling me mentally ill is not a valid excuse for ignoring crimes, ignoring evidence, and committing fucking felonies. No change here. All I do is run around like a chicken with my head cut off. That's called over-revving. It would be called an exhibition of acceleration, but I wasn't accelerating very fast. It's actually what happens when I miss third. I used not a whole lot of gas to try to find stuff. I want you guys to take a look at how many crimes have been committed against me since the first time I spoke to the police about Molly. I want you to take a look at how they blew me off. And sure, they talked nice, but you know what? Talking nice does not justify ignoring the crimes against an at-risk adult. As far as the crimes committed against me, they have been committed against me nationwide. There is no place in this country where anybody in law enforcement has a right to deny me turning in my predators. Now, who do I turn it into? After assaulting that little girl in front of me and me telling the police officer who showed up, hey, it's recorded. That deputy needs to be hung in public. It's too bad we ain't got hanging judges no more, huh? There's a lot of y'all want to talk about bringing back public executions, public floggings, and things like that. Well, most of you are Nazi supporters. There is no police officer in America, no sheriff's deputy in America, no sheriff in America. There is no officer in America that I do not consider to be Nazi. Because every officer in America will lie to cover for a bad officer. Every one of them. Just like every veteran will hide behind a rookie who just didn't know any better. Well, what do we get told? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. But if you have a badge, apparently it is. Oh, I didn't know it was against the law. Are you sure about that? Ain't you supposed to be a police officer, sworn to uphold the law? But you don't know what the fucking law is, so you just bully your way through it. Isn't that right? Lawyers go to school for years and years and years, and they still have to do research. Maybe lawyers should be the police officers, because police officers don't know the law. Of course, lawyers don't know the law either. Laws are always changing, and, well, you gotta look some shit up in the law books, ain't you? Cool. I got a lot of crimes that I need to turn in. But I'm blown off every time I have to turn it in alone, and people do not help me to turn this into the cops. Not one person has ever helped me to turn this shit into the cops. Not one. Now, of course, there's Molly Smith, and she did go in with me to talk to the cops. Thank goodness. That was in late June of 2018. Scott DaCosta and his deputies have been well entrenched in covering up their crimes since Natalie disappeared. Obviously, having to go to them after Natalie disappeared, after she was found to be dead. Well, obviously, they're not going to do their jobs at that point. They would have to investigate themselves for their immoral and improper conduct. Molly Smith at least went in with me. She just didn't know what the hell was going on for the most part. And as time went along, she did learn more. She also had surgery. That surgery has prevented me from, of course, a whole lot of stuff that happened with Molly. It's prevented me from having that stuff in court. It's prevented me from having that evidence in court or having her speak up in court. Her son used to date another predator of mine, a woman named Amanda Payne. And Laura Nelson was aware of the victimization. She never came forward. Nobody ever does. Laura Nelson wants to use her son as an excuse to hide her crimes, to hide her cowardice, to hide her wrongdoing and that of her husband. That don't confront me none. I care more about human lives than I do about your fucking bullshit. You want to play Christian now? Well, that don't work. If you was really a Christian, you'd have come forward already. You wouldn't have played head games. I'm never going to stop speaking up. Is that true? No. I'm going to die someday. We're all going to die someday. Nobody lives forever. You ain't Lazarus. That's right, I read a book. I read a book that most of you claiming to be Christians have never read. It's called the Bible. And although you claim to be Christian, you show every day that you never read the book. A lot of people are fond of telling me what the Bible says, and they're completely wrong. I'm like, if you read the book, I made a video talking about, well, all these folks want to use Jesus as their excuse for killing people, but Jesus didn't say to kill people. Like these folks who want to use Jesus as an excuse. He had one of his sermons, right? And he's out there talking about, well, everybody's going to die. Everyone. And that's the truth. Everyone is going to die. But my predators wanted to use that to pretend that I was threatening to kill them. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm speaking out about how wrong you are, about what evil people you are. None of you are good people. None of you. Not a single one of you. If you were good people, you would look at evidence and you would speak out. But I'm not a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl like Gabby Petito. I'm not a black man like George Floyd. I'm not rich like Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. I'm not famous like Chris Rock. I'm funnier than Chris Rock, but I'm not famous. I'm not a famous pretty boy like Johnny Depp. I'm not a pretty white girl like Amber Heard. I don't matter. I don't matter to anyone. Asking Scott to come forward and tell the truth about the situation, it's obvious that no matter what, there's always going to be some excuse from him. Whether that's from his disabilities or otherwise, is arbitrary. The fact is that the situation did happen. The abuse did happen. And with all those people who were witnesses to it, all those people who said that they would help me to turn it in, not a single one has made any effort to do so. Not one. Instead, it's, oh, go here and here and here and here and go there and go there. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? And, oh, well, she's not doing it right now. Shut the fuck up. So, if a woman comes to you and says her dad is raping her, are you going to blow her off by saying, oh, well, he's not raping you right now? You're all pieces of shit. All of you. Every single human being on this planet. There are no good people left. There's a big difference between nice and good. I got to run around all of these services without a civilian there and present with me. It doesn't matter. They're not going to do anything. They're going to tell me it's someone else's job, and I'm going to record it. It's going to end up being bullshit. Natalie Bollinger and her friends threatened, harassed, and intimidated me in a lot of different places. A lot of different places. But nobody cared. Well, I get told, oh, well, you have to fill that out in the jurisdiction where the crime happened. Well, Natalie didn't do that. First of all, I didn't commit any crimes against Natalie. 0 crimes against Natalie. But I wasn't allowed a court date. So lo and behold, without a court date, what do I get? I got paid on the 23rd, the day after I was supposed to have a court. I didn't even know I had a court date. They're supposed to inform me of that. And they didn't. And I didn't know how fucking protection orders worked. But when I did know how they worked, it didn't matter because my predators in law enforcement were making sure that I was incarcerated and making sure that they don't tell the truth to judges. Meanwhile, the judge in that case, another rubber stamp, he's the one that wrote Natalie Bollinger's address, did not check it. So then, of course, Natalie's going to use that to try to pretend that I know where her house is. Then Danica Garner lets me know that's not where Natalie lived, that's where her grandma lived. Now this shit should have all been in fucking court! It should have been in court! That shit should have been in court! Every interaction with me and the Bollingers, every fucking one of them, should have been fucking supervised. I shouldn't be fighting 6 years later in a fucking corrupt town like Tillamook, Oregon, having crimes committed against me here. Now you get to see I am fucking frustrated. My words don't come together right. And then you're going to pretend like I'm a bad person because I am frustrated over mass quantities of abuse. I need to make these fucking calls. I need to be able to turn this shit in. None of these people, not one, has made a single effort to help me to turn these fucking crimes in. Not one. Not fucking one of them. I wasted a lot of time believing these people were not full of shit. Sorry, I actually don't believe anybody. Not a single person on this planet. I believe everybody's full of shit. But I'll give you the opportunity to prove me wrong. You don't prove me wrong. Obviously, I ain't gonna find enough for a coffee. Life fucking happens, don't it? You know how expensive it is to live fucking homeless? You know how much it sucks being harassed everywhere that you fucking go because everything is too fucking expensive? You know what it's like when it's gonna cost you $900 per month just for you to hopefully be able to park it somewhere for temporary. 14 days in the parks here. 14 days out of every 3 months. Well, that ain't much. And at $30 a night, you get not even half a month for your $30 a night. What's 4 times 3? That's 12. We gotta put a 0 at the end of this, of course. We was about to do some math, but maybe we shouldn't do this early in the morning. look at it like this. I make $840 a month disability, if they pay me. It costs $420 for 14 days out of a month. The only month where my disability would cover for me to stay in the mountains. That was weird. That guy had the right of way, but he just sat there and waited for me to make a turn instead. Sorry about that. I made a little bit of a ADOS off-ramp. Trying to remember where I was at. I don't mean where I'm at locally. I know exactly where I'm at here in Tillamook. I meant where I was at in what I was saying. Most people are cowards. They're not going to do what's right, but they'll be pissed off if something wrong happens to them. They'll tell you to let it go or to give it to God. But that's not the direction they go, is it? Oh no. William Barr could have been honest and instead he played victim, and he used his old position that he no longer has to try to gain sympathy, gain a sympathetic ear. The thing is, through none of this should it have ever been reputation that it was based on. I had a hell of a good reputation. However, reputation versus evidence, the evidence should have been looked at. Here in Tillamook, you know, I don't mind speaking up. I think it sucks that I have to. But when it comes to saving human lives, it is worthwhile. When you're called mentally ill, nobody's going to listen. They don't care what your mental illness is. But then again, they'll listen to my predators, and they have mental illnesses as well. Did they give Danica Garner the same treatment that they gave me? Where I must be too retarded to know what the fuck is going on because I'm autistic. She says she's autistic too. But they listen to her. Oh yeah, she's got fucking tits. Almost forgot about that. She's a dumbass druggy whore who's got kids because she was a dumbass druggy whore. So obviously she's worth more than me as a human being. Because she went out and had unprotected sex like a fucking idiot. These people work together with my predators in law enforcement to make sure that I couldn't go to court dates. I literally had to break the law to try to turn in Danica Garner, Rochelle Shelley Campbell, Rose M. Kelly, Ted Bollinger. I literally had to break the law because people were doing there what it is that Scott's doing here, and what Jared's doing here, and what is doing here. Sure, they were gonna, but they haven't even tried. Not one of them. Same thing with Dallas. Do I hate any of these people? No, I don't. Is Jason a bad person for wanting to feed his family? No, he ain't. Is he a bad person for having migraines? No, he ain't. Is he a bad person for having a fucked up back? No, he ain't. But but you sure treat me like I'm a bad person for being disabled. Good intentions aside, Scott hasn't done shit. He's nice, but there's a big difference between a nice person and a good person. A nice person will still watch you get beaten to death. A nice person will tell you what you want to hear. Yeah, you want to believe that car only has 130,000 miles on it. Used car salesman is smiling at you. Maybe I shouldn't make the reference with the used car salesman because these people didn't do it intentionally, but intentionally or not, the consequences are the same. Innocent people being harmed and being blown off. If you can't make it to an appointment, let me know. If something happens and you weren't able to, let me know. If that is a true fact, you should not have any issues with letting the cops know those things. If I go in alone, they're just going to talk over me the whole fucking time. Go out of their way to talk over me so they don't hear any details because they're too busy fucking talking. I would have made a lot of phone calls in the last week, but I haven't had any money to sit down somewhere, rent a place where I can actually sit down and make those calls and actually fucking record them. I gotta hurry up and wait until my next paycheck, and it's all already spent because it's not enough to fucking live on. These predators knew exactly what the fuck they were doing when they did it. The Bollingers knew exactly what the fuck they were doing when they did it. The cops here knew exactly what the fuck they were doing when they did it. And Scott knows exactly what he was doing when he was bullshitting me. Now there's stuff that, yeah, you know, him threatening to blow up his school. Yeah, that happened. He admitted to it. His family admitted to it. His family told me they turned him in. He said his family turned him in. I've got them all recorded admitting that. But I'm expected to understand that he's got mental issues and he needs help. He has help. And I don't. These folks aren't making the connection between, well, their situation and mine. You know, it's bad enough to treat somebody who is schizophrenic that way. Then you've got people who are not schizophrenic being treated that way because they tried to turn in bad cops or fucking druggies. There should have been somebody there with me so that I wasn't abused by the system, but not one person actually fucking cared. Not one. Help me to turn it in. Help me to turn in the crimes. Kara was trying to help turn in the crimes, well then she would have actually explained the crimes were committed to that lady in the DHS office. But she didn't bother to say that. When they pawned us off on somebody else, she didn't say anything. She said that she would help me with that, but that hasn't happened. And I am expected to understand, and I do understand, but does anybody try to understand me? Does anybody try to understand that I don't have a family to help me with this? Me and my family don't get along. They're a bunch of selfish drug addicts or child molesters. No, we don't fucking get along. Anyway, the sun's coming up. I might be able to do some points a little easier now. sense. And a lot of y'all, you're fond of telling me, Sean, you should have done this or you should have done that. Fucking passing judgment is what you're doing. And then you tell me not to judge. Well, you know what? We're all judges. And we have to be. You need to assess the situation or judge the situation. What is the likelihood of Scott being honest? That's not very likely, whether it's from being delusional or schizophrenic, or whether it's from a need to try to fit in when you're unpopular. It's still not honest. Now, I understand. I've been around a lot of people with schizophrenia and a lot of people who are delusional, and they don't mean to be that way. They don't choose to be that way. I've also been that kid who lied because he wanted people to like him. He wanted to fit in. People say, hey, you need to try harder. You shouldn't have to try to fit in. You are who you are, and you should be allowed to be who you are. And just because you're not pretty doesn't mean that it's okay to fucking victimize you. Just because you're not as intelligent as someone else doesn't make it okay to victimize you. Just because you're smarter than somebody else doesn't make it okay to victimize you. Just because you have a badge doesn't make it okay to victimize others. Just because you have a badge doesn't mean it's okay to obstruct government operations by lying and intentionally misleading the situation. The thing is, if I'm assaulted in front of Kara, you know what? She's not going to do anything. If I'm assaulted in front of Scott, he's not going to do anything. If I'm assaulted in front of Jason, he's not going to do anything. If I'm assaulted in front of Jared, he's not going to do anything. I'm just going to have to take the abuse. And if they say they'll help me to turn it in again, I can hope. But they didn't help me turn in the first one. All of them said that they would, but didn't. They blow it off, and then they tell me, oh, well, we'll do it next time. No, you fucking won't. I've been through this enough times with enough people to know that you don't give a shit. Sure, conceptually, you think it's wrong for me to be victimized like that. It's obvious that the situation did actually happen. You guys did actually say that you would help me turn it in. You guys are actual witnesses. So help me to turn in this information. Help me to turn in what you know in person with me. With me. About Scott, he is super lucky that he's got the mom that he does, and he knows it. He hasn't done any of this out of some sick fucking hatred for me as a human being. He didn't just magic up mental problems. If you have a problem, you have a problem. If you're schizophrenic, you're schizophrenic. If you're bipolar, you're bipolar. If you're autistic, you're autistic. But you are not a legal definition. You're a human being. And just because somebody is schizophrenic doesn't make it okay to harm them. Just because somebody is bipolar doesn't make it okay to harm them. Actually, it does. Legally, it's against the law to do those things, but our bias tells us that it's okay, doesn't it? Your bias tells you that it's okay to victimize people, and so you do. If you hate black people, you have bias against them, and you think that any crimes that you commit against black people is somehow magically justified because of your bias. But then when they defend themselves, oh, then the law matters, doesn't it? Then, like a fucking coward, you want to go run into Johnny Law. Oh, I'm victimized. Oh, poor me. The person I chose to victimize is sticking up for himself. Dear God, we can't have this. Help! My victims are fighting back. Help! And all of them are like that. They'll call you a rat, and then they'll call the cops and lie about you. They'll call you a rat even if you don't call the cops, and then call the cops on you. Because if they call you a rat, somehow magically that justifies it. When you are called mentally ill, anybody can victimize you at any point in time, and they can and probably will. Anytime that you are caught alone, you are at an extreme risk. And if you haven't noticed, I spend most of my time living in my vehicle by myself. Sometimes, like yesterday, you go to one of the church feeds, and it's all right. There's no meanness. There's always going to be drama. But there was no Robert Farnsworth there yesterday. There was no Molly there yesterday. The thing is, Molly has shown herself to be an extreme predator with experience. The cops here let her get away. It wasn't just the cops, though. It was everybody who didn't care enough to help turn it in when it happened. All these people who procrastinated. All these people who have their own lives. Well, whether you have your own life or not, you still need to speak up. I have to be afraid of the cops here. I have to be afraid of the sheriff's department, too. The sheriff's deputies are willing to slam a 14-year-old girl into the side of the vehicle without saying a word. They just ran up, fucking grabbed a hold of her, and fucking assaulted her. Some fucked up shit. And then they sent her to a nuthatch. You know how it is. You're being abused, you try to tell on your abuser, you get locked up for being suicidal. Really? No, that's a fucking racket. When you're victimized to the point that you want your life to end. She was trying to tell on people. Fuck this country. Fuck anyone who supports it. If you are going to support Nazi ideology, you and I are not going to be friends. Scott's got a valid excuse. Being diagnosed as schizophrenic is actually a valid excuse for dipping out. But he hasn't dipped out. He just changes the subject, doesn't he? Everyone does that. That shows that he's got some intelligence to him. It shows that he knows how to sidestep and how to politically maneuver. And if he can do that, that's not schizophrenia or delusions. He is aware of the situation well enough to sidestep and change the subject, try to redirect it. I don't think he's schizophrenic, and I don't think he's delusional. I think he's a nerd who's unpopular like me. When I was younger, I hung out with the Magic the Gathering crowd, the nerds. And many of them were that way. You know, they'd want to tell a story. You know, they're used to being the one who has to shut up and stand in the corner. Nobody wants to hear them. They're not pretty. All the girls want to hear the pretty boys. All the boys want to hear the pretty girls. Nobody wants to listen to you. You're different. You're a weirdo. And they don't fucking stop. They just keep doing that shit over and over and over again. Scott's got a family that cares about him. And I'd like to believe that if this shit happened to Scott, his family would fucking step in and go, hey, this is not happening. I would hope that if Scott was going through this, his family would speak up immediately and tell the truth about it. Hey, Scott's schizophrenic. When he says he's schizophrenic, he's telling the truth. Now, let's say his diagnosis was different. Let's say his diagnosis was Asperger's. And let's say this happened to him. And he had Asperger's. Do I believe for one moment that his mom would go in with him and fight for his rights and try to turn it in? Absolutely, I believe she would. I believe her husband would as well. I believe Jared would as well. These are not bad people. They're not even close to being bad people. They're definitely nice people. I'm a good people. I'd take a thumping for every one of them. Yesterday, Lila and Scott were both in the parking lot. Now, if somebody were to try to pretend that Scott raped her while they were in the parking lot, they were trying to pretend that Scott raped somebody in Bay City or in Portland or in Salem while he was in the parking lot. You know, that's an analogy, of course, but here's the thing, is that it's exactly the same thing. How's he going to commit the crime if he wasn't fucking there? And in that situation, do you think that Lila would speak up and say, he was with me? He was with me in Tillamook. Sean Schwartz was there. He was parked right next to us talking to us. You could talk to him. He's a witness. Do you think Lila would speak up in that situation? I believe she would. Do you believe that I would speak up in that situation? You know that I would. Hell, it's already recorded on my YouTube channel, so there's actual evidence of it. So if someone tried accusing him of raping them in Portland while he was with me and Lila here in Tillamook, yeah, he wouldn't have to go far for witnesses, but there's no guarantee that the cops wouldn't come and arrest him anyway because it was a female who said it. Take him to jail, deny him all of his rights, take away his disability income and his medical insurance, deny him medical while he's incarcerated, and assault him repeatedly over false charges. There's no guarantee that they'll even go and try talking to Lila. They might pretend that it happened on a different day. If they cut him off from being able to speak to her, or if she didn't care enough and his family didn't care enough to find out where he disappeared to, and to call up and actually talk to him and see what's going on. But unlike me, Scott's family cares for him and about him. He's not a bad person for his disabilities. Natalie Bollinger had the same disabilities. Sort of. I say sort of for a reason, because first of all, Natalie Bollinger was not schizophrenic. That was a drug-induced psychosis. It's different. Scott didn't choose what happened to him. He was born with it. Natalie Bollinger, on the other hand, well, she was messing around with them drugs. She fucked her head up because she was messing around with them drugs. Same with Danica Garner. Same with Rochelle Shelley Campbell. Same with Desiree Leonard. Same with Rose M. Kelly. I mean, these people severely fucked themselves up on drugs. How did Ted Bollinger end up with those 3 women as wives? Because he had the fucking drugs that they wanted. Why did Miss Peaches throw me away over Blake McCrelius? Oh, there's a sheriff. He's getting some coffee. Right. This over here is the Tillamook Tire Service. These people are very cool. They treated me extremely well, talked to me like I'm a person. We'll take a left on Oral here. This is the street that Cheryl and Lewis live on for the most part. I mean, they have to keep moving, same as anybody else, but as long as they keep on relocating, they're not technically breaking the law. The cops aren't going to tell you that, though. You can park outside of somebody's house. It's a public street. If they don't have a driveway, that's not your fault. But the street itself, yeah, nobody gets to claim. It's just for them. That lady down here who was telling me about her husband's parking spot, well, legally it's not his spot. But you got to pay attention, I hope, to how that lady spoke to me. She spoke to me like I was a person. She let me know what was up, that, you know, her husband does park there. That is his spot. And, you know, as far as that goes, I do understand the sentiment. And I don't mind allowing him to have his seat. If it's a dinner table or a parking spot or whatever else, yeah, I am fine with it. As far as a table goes, there's no law saying that the head of household has to sit at the end of the table. That's just where those people are comfortable. For me, allowing that man to have his parking space there as a matter of his comfort level, I feel that it is perfectly fine and acceptable to allow it. Not only that, it's not like she said you need to leave right this moment. I mean, it was fucking early in the morning, and I was only going to be there for a few minutes. And of course, if she'd have been patient, she'd have realized that. But at the same time, why would she have to be patient? You know, that's a lot of fucking anxiety. Why don't you just get it hashed out? Find out if the guy is going to be parked outside of your house all day, or if he's just going to be here for a few minutes. And she did the right thing by coming over and checking in and finding out, explaining to me the situation, being very courteous about it. She didn't do nothing mean or evil to me. Proper communication. And when I had something to say, she actually listened to what I had to say. She didn't talk over me like cops do. The cops keep on breaking the law, but they think it's fine. No, it's not fucking fine. They're not going to care until a few of them end up dead. And when I say a few, I'm not talking about 2 or 3 or 5 or 10. If BLM really wanted to do something about police killing black people, they'd organize a gun rally and go hunting. Tyrants only understand violence. And asking your slave owner nicely to set you free doesn't work. He wants you in that goddamn field picking cotton. Now, as far as the phone calls I need to make, what's standing in my way is having the ability to record it when I make the call, and record it live, because I don't have the ability or the money to sit down and go through all of this shit. I just don't have it. The number of crimes that have been committed against me since I got to this town, since people first said that they would help me turn it in, the number of crimes that have been committed against me, and of course, nothing has been done about them, is far more than anybody should have to deal with or have to encounter. Now, that lady who wanted to yell at me about Farnsworth, did she give a shit that he was threatening to fucking kill people? Did she? Did she bother to find out that he'd been doing this for a while to many people? Threatening to assault them or fucking kill them? And she wants to say mentally ill like it's a valid excuse. No, he needs help. They need to be helping Mr. Farnsworth. And I don't mean help in the way that you guys want to help me either. For him being locked up because he ended up getting violent because the cops didn't do anything, the churches didn't do anything, Eileen didn't do anything, Dean didn't do anything. And you know, all of these people, if I went in with somebody to explain to them, it is a serious situation. These things are happening. These crimes did happen repeatedly. Farnsworth, on no less than 5 occasions, pulled that shit with me. That's just with me. I believe he should have an honest day in court, though. I believe he should be allowed to face his accusers. But then again, I haven't been able to turn him in. When I try, I get blown off. It's somebody else's job. You're a mandated reporter, but that's not your job. You tell me you're a mandated reporter, but you have to go ask somebody else. You have to go ask somebody else if you can turn that in. Oh, then obviously you weren't trained as a mandated reporter. Or you're playing stupid. And that's never okay. I'm glad that those ladies feed folks at the hobo feeds. But that's no excuse for looking away from crimes committed against an at-risk adult. Whether Mr. Farnsworth is schizophrenic or not, he wanted to repeatedly threaten my life and threaten me with bodily harm. Just like the Bollingers, just like Tim Beeson, just like Ted Bollinger. Y'all are sick shits. Yeah, I'm frustrated with the situation. You're goddamn right I am. I'm even angry with a lot of the people involved because they didn't keep their word. But also, I'm a lot more understanding. I am understanding of the fact that Scott has his own problems. I am understanding of the fact that these people have their own lives. However, if you're a witness to abuse against an at-risk adult, what does it say about you as a person when you let it go on? When the difference between that continuing and it stopping is you coming forward and admitting that person's telling the truth. You were there for it. It's recorded on my YouTube channel. Cops say that they'll look at it, but they never do. They never call me back either. Fuck the police. There are no good people wearing badges in this country. Not even Brent Jepson. I love Brent. I really do. I've been cutting trees with him since he was, what, 11? Yeah, I like the guy. Well, not anymore. He's a cop again. He didn't have very nice things to say about police. I got him recorded on my channel talking about that. Scott DeCosta got away with assisting a Nebraska or a Chapel City Council member with getting away with murdering kittens. Rory Jepson was trying to turn that in. That's Brent Jepson's dad. He was trying to turn in Scott DeCosta. Of course, after Rory died, Brent went to work for Scott DeCosta. How fucking sick is that? Rory told me as soon as they were able to get something going against DeCosta that he would let his lawyer know about me because it does show an established pattern. But you know what? There's another victim of Scott DeCosta's, Joe Newman's daughter, over and over again. And of course, with deputies in Chapel, Nebraska, talking about how they should burn her house down, that's not going to make anybody feel comfortable, is it? She gets the same treatment I do. They call her mentally ill. They deny her the rights that she is entitled to or the assistance that she is entitled to, and the judge allows it. She was in one of my court dates, and they hadn't notified her of her legal rights. And the judge told her that she couldn't do anything about it now because her time to do so was over. She only had 10 days. Well, they didn't tell her she only had 10 days. And she didn't have assistance through that. Maybe the cops were talking about burning her house down just as a joke. Maybe it was just a joke. But if I was Joe Newman's daughter, yeah, I'd be afraid that the cops will burn my house down or have somebody else do it. Joe Newman's daughter is another one of the victims of Dual County Sheriff's Department. Repeated abuse by Dual County Sheriff's Department. Not only that, she didn't kill Rory. But after Rory died, people wanted to start rumors that she had killed Rory. That she had murdered him for like insurance money or some shit like that. No, this lady's a nice lady. And maybe she's a bit crazy, but so are you. Matter of fact, she's more sane than you because you believe this shit's okay. You believe that by calling someone mentally ill, it makes it okay to harm them. It makes it okay to commit crimes against them. You know, it's even freakier than that. Transferred from the jail in Scotts Bluff to the prison in Lincoln. I got to hear on the radio that her fucking house burnt down. I can't get law enforcement to listen. They keep pretending that I'm schizophrenic and delusional. Meanwhile, obviously, Marcia Estrada, knowing that I'm not schizophrenic or delusional, should have fucking done something to set it straight. Especially knowing that I'm being victimized. Especially knowing that he's doing it to others. Now, one of her other patients or clients or customers or consumers, I think is what they call us now. Consumers. Our consumers. That's because these are all businesses. There's a reason that CARE, the E on the end, stands for enterprises. It's a business. They're fleecing you for your tax dollars and they're not helping the victims. If you're a female, they might. That blonde-haired, blue-eyed lady that got help from Monica actually helped her, but she's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman. Yes, I very much feel as if I was discriminated against for my gender, because I was and am. How can these people help the victim if they're not even willing to look at evidence? Or if they're going to go out of their way to set up a situation where the victim can't turn in the evidence, doesn't have the ability? How fucked up is that? Thank goodness I recorded the situations. But you know how difficult it is and how much time it takes to try to get this shit fucking downloaded to the goddamn internet? If I record it live, then it doesn't take me 3 days to fucking get it downloaded onto the fucking internet from when I first start. If I record it live, then I don't have to spend weeks and weeks and weeks trying to find a place where I can sit down with the evidence and my computer and the internet and actually get that one little part out. Meanwhile, a lot of crimes can be committed in a week's time. So if you procrastinate for a week, you're allowing that predator to do these things for a week. A lot can happen in a week, including people getting their goddamn heads blown off. Case in point, Natalie Bollinger. I'll be right back after I pee. Anyway, this is what it's like to be a man. If I'd have been a woman and that shit happened with Molly, and Molly had been a male, first of all, Molly would have gotten put in jail and possibly prison for trying to break into the Fred Meyers. Second of all, most of those witnesses would have gotten out of their vehicle and started threatening and assaulting Molly. If she'd have been a male and I'd have been a female, the chances of Jason taking a month to speak up, if I was a female in that situation, well, there's a better than average chance that he would have done something right there on the spot. With Tom, with all of his bullshit, he kept dragging me back into the fucking Molly bullshit. If you're gonna tell me you're done with her, be done with her. If she's fucking threatening to kill me and harassing me over you, then you need to fucking do something about it. Or you need to go the fuck away. But even after you go the fuck away, I'm still gonna speak up and I'm still gonna try to turn in the crimes. And yes, this is sexism. Whether people are sexist on purpose or not is arbitrary. They're still sexist. Claiming that you like black people and you can't be racist because you have a black friend, you have a token black friend. And most of you, I've never met your black friend. Your best friend is black, your best friend is black, so it's okay to make racist jokes? Really? It's okay to use the N-word because your black friend said it's okay? That's pretty fucking delusional right there. With Joe Newman's daughter in Chapel, Nebraska, being victimized by the Dual County Sheriff's Department before Rory was killed. Sorry, before Rory died. He wasn't killed. He had a fucking heart attack and he died. And then Cammie Jepson and her daughter, Katie Doty, want to run around accusing Joe Newman's daughter of killing Rory. I get that you miss your brother, but that doesn't make the woman a murderer. As far as people in that family, what they've shown me in the last 6 years, Dana being a teacher, yeah, I went to the people I was supposed to. Supposed to go to teachers, supposed to go to preachers, supposed to go to your parents, and supposed to go to the cops. I covered all those bases. I went to preachers, of course, not ordained. That's the thing about Rod Wright. He's not ordained. He's not an ordained minister. He's not an ordained pastor. He's not nothing. He might have gotten a certification by now. Who knows? Rod Wright helped my predators to get away. Now, he and I both recorded the conversation between me and Sean Holloway. When I let him know that I needed that recording for my safety, because they had destroyed mine, Rod Wright started pretending like I was threatening to kill him. That shows he has no God. That shows he's a manipulator. He's not the man he pretends to be. They rarely are. What are the chances that either Rod Wright or Zach Richmond are child molesters? Well, given the fact that it's usually a male, it's most often the dad, so Zach is the prime one on the list. When a girl's cutting on herself, though, it's usually because her dad or her brother can't keep their nasty cock beaters to themselves. Brandy Fish, she married Big Jason Jeffson. Her perpetrator was her grandpa. Oh, Jamie Curtis, I asked her why she kept Ronnie around when he was doing fucked up shit, getting drunk, and even pissed on the boy's head. She said, well, he helped me to turn in my grandpa. How long ago did your grandpa molest you, and why did you have to appease your Uncle Ronnie for him to come forward? If Uncle Ronnie was a good man, he'd have come forward years ago when your grandpa was first doing that shit. Brings me to my next point. Cleveland is not exactly a good family name to have. The reputation as child molesters and fucking creepers is well documented. Anyway, these aren't bad people. They're just not good people. A nice person will try to pull out little bits of scripture, use them in a way that they weren't used in the Bible. Tell you just need to let it go. You just need to turn the other cheek. You know what happens if you let a rapist go? He rapes more people. You know what happens if you let an officer who assaults homeless people go? He assaults more homeless people. You know what happens if you let a murderer go? They murder more people. Don't tell me to let my predators go. That is such a cop-out fucking excuse. Now, if I could get folks to look at evidence, they'd understand it's serious. I can't get them to take it serious until they take a look at the evidence, and they won't take a look at the evidence until they take it serious. Catch 22. Gotta come back to the post office later on today. They probably haven't had their mail yet. I think it shows up around 10 o'clock here, but I'm not for certain. Forgot to ask. In some places it's around 9, and some places it's not till 1 o'clock. In Chapel, Nebraska, it couldn't be any time between 9 a.m. and 1 in the afternoon. Postmaster there is Zach Richmond's ex, and Rod Wright's daughter. When I was locked up, every resource that I had was taken away, including my address, including my P.O. box. You know, when you're in a subservient position, you don't get to defend yourself. Just say they don't want to hear it. Dallas wanted to pass judgment against me over the situation that happened in low income. He didn't bother to hear it. He just passed judgment on me. You shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have done that. And then there's all the harassment that he gets at work. Wants to come back and tell me he's getting harassed at work over me. You goddamn right I felt bad, but he needed to turn that shit in. Who was harassing you? Who, in specific, was harassing you, Dallas? Or are you just blowing smoke up my ass? See, that's the thing. I ask for you, if you're going to tell me something, tell the truth. If you're going to tell me you talked to the cops, tell me the cop's name. If you didn't bother to even get the cop's name, I don't believe you. Now, if you can't remember the cop's name, you need to come forward about that. What day did it happen? Shit, I still don't have 31 cents. And that was smart. I just killed my car. Fuck. Where are my keys? I can't even turn the vehicle off. That's pleasant. A nice person will watch you get assaulted and then tell you they're so sorry. That's what a nice person does. A good person might chase that motherfucker with a whip. You want to tell me about your Jesus? Show me your Jesus. Show me. Because I'm not seeing it. What I'm seeing is this Jesus use this as an excuse to look away, to not do nothing, to not keep your word, to not be on it. There's a big difference between wanting to believe you and knowing well enough not to. I'm not going to believe you until you show me. You can tell me, yeah, I'll help you turn it in. But if you don't try to help me turn it in, no, I don't trust you. Oh, nice. I got pennies in my door. I forgot I picked these up. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pennies. So that means I am 25 cents short of getting a coffee. If I get a coffee, then it means I get to utilize the internet. I don't get to plug in my computer, so it doesn't do me any good as far as that goes. Yes, I can be frustrated with people and even angry with them without hating them, without wanting to kill them, without trying to kill them. But there's all these people who offered to help me, claimed that they would help me, claimed that they would look at evidence, and all they did was talk about themselves. They wanted to claim that people were threatening to kill them and their family, but of course they never came forward with me about it or to the cops. Some of them claimed that they did, but the cops outright made opposite claims in court or on my court paperwork because I never got an actual court date. That's the thing most of y'all ain't getting. There was no actual court date. It was a thorough railroading from the very start. Taylor Trujillo should have been spoken to. James Golden should have been spoken to. Matty Boa should have been spoken to. Alicia Bollinger should have been spoken to. Brandon Ratner should have been spoken to. I'm going to have to check behind my seat. I know I picked up all the silverware, or all the silver that was there the other day, but we can hope, right? I will continue to be abused and blown off until someone takes an active role in stepping up and speaking up. Someone needs to take a look at this and explain to these agencies that I am being abused, that I am at risk, and that something does need to be done. But instead, none of them are going to do that. They're going to allow me to get blown off because they don't have any vested interest in it. If I end up in fucking jail or prison on bogus charges because they didn't help in a timely and efficient manner that doesn't confront them, it's not their problem, it's not their fault. And the reason that I say that is because so many people have done that, have been that way after the fact. Oh, I didn't keep my word, Sean, but it's your fault. It's your fault that I didn't keep my word, Sean. You spoke out about me not keeping my word 6 months after I gave my word and hadn't kept my word. You're a horrible person, Sean, because you told the truth. Blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get the help that the lawyers told me that I needed to get. When you're called mentally ill, you are not allowed to defend yourself, and your predators can do whatever they want. You need a friend or a family member to fucking give a shit. No government agency is going to help out a homeless and disabled male unless someone shows that they give a shit. You guys want to say, oh, I showed you on Facebook that I care. No, you didn't. You showed me on Facebook that you're a mouth. But that's only one part of what showed me you were a mouth. You claimed that you would help me, but you didn't actually try. You think telling me that you're going to help me to turn it in, you think that's the same as actually helping? It's not. You had every chance to come forward and tell the cops the things that you told me. The fact that you didn't is what makes you a fucking felon. The fact that you assisted people who harmed me and harmed my loved ones in getting away. No, you don't get any sympathy from me. Tara doesn't get any sympathy from me. None. I didn't make people threaten her, and I didn't make her get all fucked up on drugs and fucking have tweaker cams all over her fucking tweaker camper. Meanwhile, what did she catch on the tweaker cam? Not a goddamn thing. Nothing. There are no crimes in over a year of my sister recording on her fucking tweaker cams. There's nothing on there. So my sister gets methed out of her fucking gourd and watches videos with nothing on them almost all day long. She complains that she can never catch up with the evidence that she's got to look at. She's looking at absolutely nothing. I've got actual evidence. Verifiable fucking evidence, but she's fucking too twacked out of her goddamn gourd. Of course, it don't matter. She outright lied to me. and stole my money. And it is theft because she lied. She lied to get that money. I also get to see a lot of people who wanted to look away and tell me, oh, Sean, you need to handle that by yourself. Oh, Sean, that stuff doesn't really happen to people. And then they go through it. Like, oh, Sean, I didn't know it was going to be like this. Fuck you. Fuck you. You did know it was going to be like that. How many years did you tell me, Sean, you're the most honest guy I know? And how many years had I told you about what it's like? You didn't know it was going to be like that? You're right, you didn't know. Knowledge is different from belief. Yeah, I'm the most honest guy you know, and you should have believed me. But you didn't know what it was like until you had to experience it. Ha ha, motherfucker. Equality is a bitch, isn't it? With me having Tourette syndrome and people abusing the shit out of me as if I was some sort of a fucking druggie. I was lucky that there were druggies. They knew I wasn't one of them, and they saw how I was getting treated. And you know, they're ostracized from society too. At least some of the druggies accepted me. Those of you in houses are bullshitters, though. People in houses are more disrespectful than anybody you're going to meet on the streets. If someone's going to smile at your face while lying to you, yeah, they're far more creepy than the son of a bitch who's going to fucking yell at you when you did something wrong. Hey, you got my brother killed by fucking lying, you stupid cunt. Yeah, that's acceptable. Some of you say, oh, it's never okay to curse at a woman. It's never okay to hit a woman. Well, I'm going to tell you, if Desiree's beating on you, if you want to survive the encounter, you better fucking defend yourself. That's the reality of the situation. People say, don't fuck with Desiree, but the fact is, you don't have to fuck with Desiree to get beaten up by Desiree. She gets off on hurting people. She's been like that as long as I've known her. When I rescued her from the trap house in Cheyenne, Wyoming, she told me she never liked the violence. She never got into it, but she did. She loved the violence and still does. Her solutions to most of these problems are to kill people. See, she wanted help with that McGregor feller, but she didn't want to turn him in. She wanted me to kill him. That's fucking stupid. With the situation with James Payton, right before Natalie Bollinger was killed, Jamie Curtis created that situation, and then she wanted to fucking yell at me. You need to fix this! Of course, I can only imagine what would happen if she tried to fix it herself. Well, actually she did, just like Natalie tried fixing herself. I'm trying to fix this. That's right. You're trying to cover your fucking crimes. You're trying to let people have this assumption that you're not on heroin. You're not on meth. Sean is slandering you by saying that you're on heroin and you're on meth. And then, of course, you pay somebody to blow your fucking head off. Maybe you should have paid attention to the drugs you had in your system because you just showed me to be right again. But it doesn't matter because my predators have pull. Without you guys fucking speaking up about what you know, like Brandon Ratner knows that he helped me. He knows that he helped me to get from Virginia all the way back to fucking Colorado so I can get the hell away from Natalie Bollinger and her family. But he never spoke up about it. And then him and many other people want to say, oh, well, it's recorded on your YouTube channel. It's not in court because you didn't help me to put it in court. I wrote you a letter. That's right, but you never went in with me. And the cops are going to do everything that they can because they committed fucking felonies against me. They're going to do everything they can and make every excuse not to do their job, including saying that I'm not trying to get help. No matter what I say, they're going to pretend that I'm schizophrenic because those cops committed fucking felonies. Brandon Ratner, you dumb cunt. And of course, Brandon doesn't like being called stupid. He thinks it's abusive. No, it ain't. You're fucking stupid. You want to call that abusive? You know, when you're telling a 5-year-old that they're fucking stupid, that's abuse. When you've got a grown-ass adult who knows right from wrong, up from down, and is being a selfish piece of shit, well, that right there is not okay. He's not 5 years old. Trujillo's not 5 years old either. These are grown adults. Natalie wasn't 5 years old. Alicia wasn't 5 years old. Ted Bollinger wasn't 5 years old. All Natalie's got to do is say that I'm acting like a child. All she has to do is slander my name and pretend that me having a fucking mental breakdown over fucking abuse is me acting like a child. Look at how many people yelled at me and screamed at me. Look at how many people actually assaulted me and actually threatened to kill me. You could search for 1,000 years. Out of all of the Bollingers and their family, the only one whose life I ever threatened was Ted. And I wholeheartedly admit to it. I am fucking proud of it. $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, $4. There's more in there. There's gonna be.
Copy?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll have it. That's it.
Thank you very much. More change in here. I need 6 more cents. I apparently lost a nickel somewhere. Yes, perfect. I found one. All right. Diamonds on the ground, and here's the dollar. Sorry about all the change. Good morning.
If I can actually put this spot one, I got fresh coffee going real quick.
Yes, ma'am. I got time. Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
bring right out to you.
Thank you. Whoa. Better take off the parking brake. The problem wasn't that I was not telling the truth, because I was telling the truth. The problem isn't that I wasn't trying, because I was trying. The problem is that everybody makes excuses. They figure if they ignore it for long enough, good, that works. But no, that results in undocumented abuse. If I have to go in by myself, these cops have already committed felonies against me in this town. So yeah, I have to be afraid to go talk to them alone. They've committed felonies against people in front of me. So yeah, I have to be afraid to go in and talk to them alone. Meanwhile, I don't have the ability to record it live and still make my phone calls. I don't have the ability to record it live when the phone that I need that has the ability to record it live is the very same one that I have to use to make the phone call. Or if I go in person, the phone that I need to use in order to record the situation is the phone that I have to use in order to show the evidence. So if I had two phones, which if I get my food stamps reinstated, I should be able to go down to the Cricket store and hopefully get another phone. Then I can use that phone, and it'll be a local number too, to make the phone calls that I need to make. And I can use this phone to make sure that it is fucking recorded, because god damn it, this is too much fucking work when you don't have the fucking resources, you don't have the money, you don't have enough money to fucking live on for the goddamn month. And you're expected to jump through a bunch of expensive hoops. These people preyed on me intentionally. Brandon Ratner knew that there was going to be consequences for him if he didn't speak up. He knew that there were going to be consequences for him if he continued to allow me to be victimized instead of telling the truth. I do retaliate against my predators. I let Natalie know that I was going to retaliate if she didn't come forward and tell the truth. And you know what? I did retaliate. I came forward and I told the truth for her. I posted up her email from 2016 about her dad being a fucking chimo and beating on her fucking ex-stepmoms and her sister. I want to see allegations from Natalie Bollinger that I raped her. I want to see them. Because to this day, with me being treated like I fucking raped Natalie and Alicia Bollinger, there's not one fucking shred of evidence. Do you know why? Because it never fucking happened. Do I have to kill these predators to stop them? I'm pretty smart. You guys want to take bets on how many of my predators and how many of my loved ones' predators that I can kill before getting busted? Thank you, ma'am.
Very hot. Just got done early.
Perfect. Thank
Okay,
you
I'll
very
see you.
much.
I gotta get back in.
Yes, ma'am. How many of my predators could I kill before getting busted? You guys want to take bets on that? Do you? Well, there's no reason to bet, and I'll tell you why. Because unlike you sick shits, I don't go to violence and killing as my solution for every goddamn thing. Matter of fact, none of the people who claimed that they would do those things to people ever did them. Oh, Sean, if someone did that to me and my kids, I'd fucking kill them. And then that shit happens to them and their kids. And they didn't kill them, did they? Did Candace Bondurant shoot Officer Michael Beard between his eyes with a 45 like she said she would? No, she did not. As far as Sarah Bacon goes, do I believe that she would get violent with somebody? Well, yes. She fucking got into a fight with her husband. And that's one of those situations where she got on and she complained that her husband Nick was a piece of shit who beat the fuck out of her. And at that point I was like, you know what? I'll fucking stick up for her. I can understand that. But then later on, she got back together with him, and she's like, yeah, well, actually, I was the one who assaulted him. I'm like, you're lucky to have him then. You're lucky he didn't drop you off like a bad habit and have you fucking incarcerated permanently. I hope I said Sarah Bacon and not Sarah Nelson. That's one of the problems with having so many predators and so many people that you got to interact with and deal with. People want you to be Johnny on the spot, and they want you to have it memorized, the exact time and the date of every one of these situations. I'm like, I can't do that. Nobody could do that. The number of people who have an eidetic memory that is, well, that advanced, we're talking about 2, maybe 3 people in the entire country. It ain't that great. But then there's the fact that between evidence and people's anger, you're going to allow people's anger in the courtroom. You're going to allow Ted Bollinger, who raped Natalie Bollinger and molested Natalie Bollinger, and you're going to allow Ted Bollinger to commit crimes in the courtroom and assist him in getting away with it. You're sick shits. You're not good people. You're fucking liars. You're hypocrites. You tell me to let it go. You couldn't let it go if it was happening to you any more than I can, because you'd be being victimized. And you would be angry about being victimized. Look how much of a fucking tantrum you threw because I told the truth. Look at how much of a tantrum you threw when I recorded the fact that I was telling the truth, that you knew I was telling the truth, and you never came forward. You wasted my time. You wasted my money. You promised me if I paid for this and paid for that and bought this and bought that and did this and did that, that you would come forward. Well, if you weren't such a shitty fucking person, you'd have just come forward. If you're a good person, you would want to stop the abuse, not make excuses for the abuser. I went around once and it kind of felt like my right rear tire might have gotten stuck just a little bit. No. All right, good. So I figured I'd go back over the part where that happened and see if it was the car doing it or if going through that dip the way that I did was what did it. And it was going through the dip the way I did. I can make it into the parking spot here. I missed it once because the sun is in the perfect angle that once I start turning in, it starts blinding me. But I made it. Those of you who are against assisted suicide, you don't give a fuck about the quality of life of the victim. And even the churches aren't going to do a goddamn thing about the predators, even when it happens at the church. The church that Jason and his wife go to is that church. I have their church. I don't think that they're the kind of folks who are going to stand up to the church. That doesn't mean they won't. But being as it's taken so long to get any of them to help turn in a situation that they were there for, heard, and saw. I mean, Jason was there. His wife Kara was there. His son Scott was there. His son Jared was there. Scott's friend Dallas Palmer was there. And his friend Luke was there. And his girlfriend was there, although I can't remember her name. And I think he even said his mom was there. This shit's not fucking okay. If I'd seen a Molly, even though she's a female and he's a male, if I'd have seen Molly doing to Scott what she did to me, I'd have recorded it and spoken up immediately. If he asked me to go in with the cops, I'd have gone in with him immediately. See, that's the thing, is that when someone is being victimized, if you let it go, that allows the predators to get away with it over and over and over again. It makes it so that it's not documented. You think these cops are going to want to document their own wrongdoing? The fact that the officer who assaulted that 14-year-old girl, you guys should just listen to that video. I mean, really, it's such a fucked up situation. You guys are shitty people. And there's a lot of people here. They may not be shitty people, but they're not good people. Being nice and being good are not the same thing. Between pissing off a pastor and telling the truth, I'm going to tell the truth. If you were to come up to me and say, hey, Sean, your little brother Michael is a rapist, I've got video evidence. You know what I'd do? I'd help them turn in that video evidence. But it has to be done together. If any one of these government agencies or these businesses like CARE, if any of them do wrong things, because you are alone, they will get away with it. It's their word versus yours, which is why there needs to be an advocate or a guardian present. I had one lady who claimed to be an advocate. Her name was Lisette Brown, and she did everything she could to look the other way. There was another lady who was supposed to be an advocate. Her name was Kara Johnson Miles. She wasn't an autism advocate. She was a scammer who was slandering my name in YouTube groups while pretending like she was wanting to be my friend and that her and Miss Shelley were trying to help me. Well, when she got busted lying by Shannon Alvarado, that's when all of that shit went down with them fucking playing victim. They got busted lying, and then they committed felonies to fucking cover it up, and the police committed felonies along with them. If Kayla Trujillo had been honest, she would have never been recorded and ended up on my YouTube channel. That goes for every single person on my YouTube channel. If you'd have come forward when it made a difference, you wouldn't be on my channel. If you'd have helped me to turn in my predators, Natalie Bollinger would still be alive. And now with Scott, he gets a free pass on Natalie's death. And why is that? Because he didn't have nothing to do with it. Every single person that I went to for help is responsible for Natalie's death. I went to Brandon Ratner for help. He didn't give a shit. And then Natalie ended up dead. I went to Brenda Dickinson. She didn't give a shit. Natalie ended up dead. I went to Laura Nelson. Laura Nelson didn't give a shit. Natalie ended up dead. You know, there's lots of people who are witnesses to the situation who can verify that I told the truth. But they're not going to because they're all cowards. Now, between believing Scott and his story about how he talked to the cops and all this other stuff, you know what? I got to see proof. I got to see evidence. I can't just believe you just because you said so. And you want to get insulted because I don't believe you just because you said so? Then you need to fucking say so to the goddamn cops. If you can tell me it happened, then you can tell the cops. I have no friends. I never did have friends. I had people who pretended that they cared about me, but only if they got what they wanted. My dad's help was to make sure that everything that I could have done to clear my name and get this to stop, he made sure that I was incapable of doing those things. He was paranoid that I would make recordings. Well, you know what? If he'd helped me, I wouldn't have to make the fucking recordings. I should have recorded every fucking moment at my dad's house. Just so you all know what a fucking useless goddamn piece of shit that man is. What a selfish fucking piece of goddamn dookie. There's a big difference between Scott and myself. Scott has a family who cares. people don't care if I kill myself over them not giving a fuck, over them wasting my time. If these were good people, they would have stood up when they said that they were going to. Scott, you get to hear that even though he was going to help me to turn it in, no matter what, he's going to change the subject now. He's going to not answer the question. The problem is that I have thousands of crimes that have been committed against me over this slander, and each and every one of these people thinking that if they just ignore it and let it go, it'll go away. No, it won't. That'll only get me angry at you and speaking out about you. You don't want me talking about you doing fucked up shit, don't do fucked up shit. You don't want me telling people that you fucking lied to me. Well, then don't fucking lie to me. You don't want me posting up the recordings of you lying to me. Well, then maybe you should have thought about that before you fucking lied. If you tell me you'll go in with me and you don't go in with me, and then you're going to make every excuse to change the subject, yeah, I don't believe anything that comes out of your mouth. Now, there's a lot of chronic liars that I know. A lot of them. Some of them are delusional, and some of them just want friends. Some of them just want people to have the impression that they're an alright guy. Not sure if you noticed this about me, but I'm kind of a dork. I play Magic the Gathering, and I like airplanes and engines and stuff. As far as hating any of these folks, no, I don't. With many of these folks, I absolutely fucking hate what they did. Alright, I gotta take that back. Ted Bollinger is a special exception. Ted Bollinger got paid tens of thousands of dollars when his daughter died through his GoFundMe. I didn't have a GoFundMe. There were 3 GoFundMes made for me. Nobody ever helped me to make one. The ones that were made by Candace Bondurant and Carl Rogers and some lady whose name I don't know. Now here's the thing, I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to do everything that all these people tell me to do, because if I do what they tell me to do, maybe they'll fucking help, but no, they never did. Winchester 10mm auto. Huh. I can't bring Natalie back, and I don't want to. I'm glad she's dead. Her pain is gone. You know what would have happened if I'd committed suicide before Natalie died? Or if somebody had helped me to kill myself before Natalie died? She would still be alive, being victimized by these people until she killed herself. Being raped by her dad, being assaulted by people like Tim Beeson. She had 3 boyfriends when she died. Did you know that? 3 of them. Y'all know about Joey Moreno, but what about Justin Ward? Anyway, these people killed my family. Is that true? No, it's not, and I'm not going to give them the chance. They don't get the opportunity to kill my friends and family. I am too loud about it. Of course, that didn't stop Christine Heat from being killed, did it? Didn't stop Natalie Bollinger from being killed. You know, if they'd have told the truth, they wouldn't be dead. And that's the most fucked up part. By allowing the predators to get away because they never spoke up, they allow those predators to come after them. And yes, I'm going to tell you the names of every fucking witness involved in this. Those witnesses had every ample chance and opportunity to keep their word, to help turn this in, to show that they do care, and that their Jesus is not complete bullshit and an imaginary creature like the Keister Bunny and Shanty Claus. Do I have to kill my predators to stop them? Do I have to kill the people who threatened to kill my sister and my niece in order to stop them? Obviously, the cops aren't going to do anything. Do I have to kill Scott DaCosta to keep my sister safe? Do I have to kill Leslie Snell to keep my sister safe? Do I have to kill my own mother to keep my sister safe? According to Sarah Bacon, that's the only solution there is to a situation like this. I should have been killing people. I should have killed Leslie Snell. I should have killed Scott DaCosta. I should have killed Ted Bollinger. People getting a hold of me to harass me and saying, if you were any kind of a man, you would have killed those people for threatening your sister instead of leaving state like a little bitch. Oh no, leaving state's the only way to keep my sister safe. If I'm in Chapel, Nebraska, and somebody kills Leslie Snell, what's to stop them from targeting my little sister again? Or my niece? I'll tell you straight up, if putting my sister in prison for the rest of her life was what it took to keep my niece safe, I'd do it. I'd make goddamn sure that my sister is in prison. Don't fuck kids, assholes. Do I have to kill Leslie Snell to get justice? Because that wouldn't be justice. You'd make her a martyr. Most of the women that I know who are predators deserve to be murdered. It wouldn't be murder, it would be self-defense because they're trying to get innocent men killed by lying. If I had chopped Natalie Bollinger's head off, I would be well within my moral rights to do so. I'd be well within my rights, according to your Bible, to beat her to death with a fucking rock. You Christians don't follow God's law. God is a brutal son of a bitch, according to your book. Your God is not going to do nice things to you. Natalie Bollinger was nice, but she was evil. You think she went to heaven? There ain't a chance in hell. She didn't go to the pearly gates and get asked, hey, so this Sean Schwartz guy, why'd you lie about him? Why did you try to get him killed by spreading slander that gets people killed? Why would you allow Sean to be victimized all this time for things that Tim Beeson and your father did? You think Natalie got that chance? No, she went straight to hell. Natalie Bollinger is dead because she fucking deserved it. She deserved an end to her pain. And I deserve an end to mine. She could have ended the horrible things, the violence, the threats, the harassment, simply by telling the truth. But no, she's a pretty white girl. So we taught her the same thing we taught the rest of y'all females. You're not responsible for your actions. That's the thing, is that if we are not going to hold women responsible for their actions, because they're not obviously mentally competent enough to be held responsible for their actions, then they need to all be locked up in facilities where they cannot hurt people. You don't like hearing that? That's tough shit. I get tired of women saying that all men should be killed because we have penises. I get tired of women pushing this hateful rhetoric towards all men. And you pretend like it's okay. You pretend like it's not sexism. You pretend like selling a false narrative and fucking lying. That's called bearing false witness. Oh, I'm bleeding again. Fuck it. Turn a blind eye, right? Turn the other cheek, right? That's what you tell everyone. But then, if it happens to you, you don't turn the other cheek. You don't give it to God. When Mandy Hughes got busted doing fucked up shit, she went to my predators to try to cover up her crimes. All these people who are at each other's throats, making my life worse, creating a bunch of drama. All I needed was help turning in these fucking predators. Instead, I'm stuck listening to Layla Johnson telling me that she's not going to help me if I'm still friends with Carl Rogers. Carl Rogers has got a bunch of fucking evidence that I need. And then Carl Rogers and her bullshit with Aaron Cockerham, and Aaron Cockerham and her bullshit with Layla Johnson. Aaron Cockerham pretended to be Layla Johnson's sister. And then later on, she tried changing the story. Oh, she forwarded that to me, so I forwarded it to you. Meanwhile, Layla Johnson's allowed in these Natalie Bollinger groups that I'm not allowed in. She wasn't a part of any of it. I was. So why is Layla Johnson allowed in these things? Meanwhile, she's hopping into these groups and doing this whole I'm in love with Sean thing. Like, holy fucking shit. I'm trying to get help turning in my predators. What the fuck are you doing? Meanwhile, Dan Faber, he's recorded on my channel admitting that he knew what was going on. And also admitting that he never came forward about it. He said he didn't know that Shannon Alvarado was an alcoholic. Yeah, he did. I explained to him the safety issues there because of her alcoholism. And instead of trying to understand, he treated me like fucking shit. Fuck everybody in this country. This Me Too movement. Me too, me too, me too. It's not about equality. It's not about stopping rapists or murderers. It's about making sure that women are not held accountable. About pushing it that women cannot be predators. Only men can be predators. Only whites can be racist. the shit that we've heard our entire lives, haven't we? Well, with all due respect, I grew up in the system and I fucking know better. I went to Lincoln High School in Washington State. This is a minority high school. Yeah, I fucking know better. Between your assumptions and the person who lives it, the person who's living it is going to know far better than you. When it comes to being schizophrenic, you know, I got my own assumptions about schizophrenia, but when it comes to living with schizophrenia, I don't have a fucking clue. I have to ask somebody who's schizophrenic what it's like. When it comes to being in a wheelchair, I have no fucking clue. I have to ask somebody in a wheelchair what it's like. If I care, then I will. If Jeff Baldridge tells me that he's having issues with his legal stuff because he can't get up the stairs at the courthouse because of his wheelchair, I'm not going to pretend that he's not in a wheelchair. I'm not going to pretend that his disabilities don't exist. But the courts will. They'll say, oh, that's not our problem. That's not our responsibility. You should have taken care of that yourself. Well, what happens if he can't find 4 strong men who will carry him into the building and up the stairs to where he needs to go for his fucking appointment with the courts? If people slander his name and say that he's a fucking child molester, people aren't going to want to help him. They're not going to care. He's going to sit outside of court going, you know what? I made it to court. I showed up. I called everybody that I know. All these people who are my friends, I called them up and asked them for help because I can't make it up those stairs by myself. And they say, oh, you're just making excuses. You just need to love yourself. Does Jeff Baldridge deserve that kind of treatment? Well, sort of. He's definitely not a rapist. He couldn't rape somebody if he wanted to. So he gets a free pass on that. See, he gets a free pass on something that I was willing to have done to me. Except I'd have it done differently. I'd have all the equipment removed. I use my penis for pissing. I'm not interested in breeding or having kids. I always wanted kids, but I'm not such a selfish piece of shit that I'm going to bring a child into this world just so that I have someone to love, knowing what that child will probably have to go through. The fact that there are so many Ted Bollingers in the world, so many Scott DeCostas in the world, so many Leslie Snells in the world. No, I don't want to bring children into this. No, I don't want to raise children in this. I get a lot of lip service. A lot of people say, hey, this person offered to help and that person offered to help. Did they follow through? No, they didn't. And that's why my predators got away. They got to slander me in court because you never tried, never made a single effort to help me to turn it in. Shannon Alvarado made zero effort to help me turn in Kara Johnson Miles. She made zero effort. Zero. I was going to her because she said that she would help me, but of course, alcoholism's a bitch, isn't it? What's even worse is when the alcohol does their thinking. You can't confront an alcoholic about their alcoholism. or you're the bad guy. You can't confront a heroin addict about their heroin. Those of you who think that I should have kept Natalie's secrets, no, I shouldn't have. When people were assaulting me and threatening to kill my fucking friends and family, no, go fuck yourself. Natalie doesn't get a fucking free pass on that. Alicia doesn't get a free pass on that. Maddie Boa doesn't get a free pass on that. I followed the instructions that the lawyers told me to follow. Before I can actually get a lawyer, as someone who is called mentally ill, I have to have a guardian or an advocate. They also explained to me that anything that these officers do to me without a guardian or an advocate present is against the law. When I ask for a guardian or an advocate to be present, I cannot provide one for myself, and they know it. They are supposed to provide someone to do those things. With Penny Cooper not helping me to turn none of this shit in, yeah, she's got the title of advocate, but she's not doing any of the things an advocate is supposed to do. Meanwhile, she's a paid advocate. I have to go through thousands of pieces of evidence without a place to do it to try to turn these predators in. But I don't have a place to do it. That has been the problem since before Natalie was killed. I had zero help and no place to do it. Now I try to turn in my predators, and I'm told that I have to go to the jurisdiction that my predators live in. I go to the jurisdiction that my predators live in, and they tell me otherwise. How many times did I contact Natalie Bollinger from Broomfield? It never happened. Now, where is that protection order from? It's from Broomfield. And all the stuff that she put in there is all stuff that happened, first of all, in Virginia, and second of all, it's all stuff that she asked me to do, or her sister asked me to do, and she misled every bit of it, claiming that I was parked behind her work for weeks. No, I was parked behind her sister's work for about 2 weeks. That part is sort of true as a result. But without allowing me to face my accusers, the reality of the situation was never brought into court. And none of my public pretenders were going to do their jobs unless Kayla Trujillo actually tried, not claiming that she's gonna, but somehow magically she never has the time to follow through. Not one of my so-called friends has showed themselves to be a friend. And all of these witnesses to crimes wanting to make excuses for the criminals or make excuses not to come forward and tell me about the most trivial fucking shit. I need help with serious issues, and you're going to tell me about trivial crap. Now, there's some stuff that's not trivial. When Brandon Ratner's brother disappeared, I helped to find Brandon Ratner's brother, despite the fact that Brandon Ratner had literally not lifted a fucking finger to help turn in the information that he knew. He wanted to claim that he did. Prove it. Help me to turn it in court. You tried to turn in abuse against an at-risk adult, and you were denied the right? That's not my fault. It's also not my choice for your dumbass to do it in a way that obviously you're not going to have any proof of it. If you'd have made that call with me, first of all, they would have taken it more seriously because it shows that someone actually fucking cares. So if they blow me off or blow you off, there are definitely possible legal repercussions coming in short order. But when you do it by yourself and you have no proof that you did it by yourself, how am I supposed to believe that, first of all? And second of all, how does that help me? If you're not coming forward in fucking court about it and you have no fucking evidence and you went out of your way not to record the situation, not to save the names, and then you want to pretend like I'm a bad person because you fucked up like that? No, you fucked up. You fucked up. I'm being victimized because you fucked up. Yes, I understand most of these people, their ideas, even though they said that they would help me turn it in, what I should be doing is killing my predators. What I should be doing is killing my mother. What I should be doing is killing Scott DaCosta. What I should be doing is killing Dallas Richmond. What I should be doing is killing my little sister. What I should be doing, what I should be doing, what I should be doing. Well, fuck you. I don't do what you think I should do. I do what I know to be right. And turning these predators in is the help that I needed from you. Not empty promises about how you're going to go fucking kill them, or you're going to go beat them up, or how you're going to do something in 6 goddamn months, you lying pieces of shit. You think I want Sarah Nelson, or sorry, not Sarah Nelson, Sarah Bacon. You really think I want Sarah Bacon killing people? Fuck no. You think I want Chris Stegeman cutting people's heads off? Fuck no. You think I want the Dual County Sheriff's Department lighting Joe Newman's daughter's house on fire? Fuck no. None of these things are things that I want to have happen. Now, there are at least 3 people that I'm aware of in Chapel, Nebraska who were victimized by Scott DaCosta and his deputies in a horrible fashion. And when those people tried to tell on Scott DaCosta, him and his deputies abused their power to force those people into fucking shitty-ass court dates over shit they didn't fucking do. Joe Newman's daughter is one of those. Joe Newman calls me Bruns. That's my mother's maiden name. That's my grandpa, Brian Bruns, the child molester, the man who raped my mother all growing up. My mother had to get pregnant. That's right, she had to get pregnant for my grandpa to stop fucking her. My dad had me take a DNA test to make sure that I'm his. Really, I think my older brother should take a DNA test to make sure he's not my grandpa's. My older brother might be a product of incest. My older brother, Eric Christopher Schwartz, was the firstborn. That was the pregnancy that got my grandpa to stop fucking my mom. And yeah, sure, maybe that semen that got her knocked up was my dad's, and maybe that semen that got her knocked up was my grandpa's. They both have the same first name, Brian Schwartz and Brian Bruns. My dad had me take a DNA test because when him and my mom broke up, my mom wanted to say it's because my dad was cheating on her, and my dad wanted to say it's because my mom was cheating on him. I got no problems believing both of them were cheating. I also don't give a fuck. Those two can have their fucking argument over who's a fucking lying ass whore later. Shit, they can have that argument until they go to their fucking graves. It ain't my fault. It ain't my choice. It ain't my decision. And who they were fucking before I was born, don't confront me none. Now, if you're going to make that fucking drama a part of my life like my mother did, making the drama with her dad raping her all growing up, making that our family fucking drama, But then she's always going over to my grandpa's house to get money from him. My Uncle Greg knew that my grandpa was raping my mom. That's why, of course, my grandma let me know that the reason that my grandpa wouldn't have anything to do with any of us kids is because my mom and my Uncle Greg extorted him for over $200,000. That's a lot of fucking money. As far as the fucked up shit that my mom did, yeah, she deserves prison, but nobody's gonna do anything about it. I mean, shit, my mom pulled illegal crap, and my little brother Michael assaulted me over it. He lost horribly because he's a fucking wiener. But he's bigger than me, so he thought maybe this once he was gonna stand a chance. No, he didn't. My little sister was so calm about it too. My little brother's hitting me, and my sister's like, Michael, stop. Michael, stop. Michael, stop. Michael, stop. And about that point was when I decided it was okay to defend myself, and I fucking pinned my little brother quick, fast, and in a hurry, and my sister's voice went to perfectly calm. And she explained to Michael while I held him down that he was being a fucking idiot, that I was doing what Mom had asked me to, and that he should have known better than to try fighting with me. I grew up in the system. That was actually after I had moved out of my mom's house. I was still working at Cabela's Corporate. I was living with Brenda and Dennis Dickinson. They were selling pot for a living. They were getting their pot from Doug Cowden. And Doug Cowden got the money for the pot by him and my older brother manipulating me into believing that we were going to get me a Ford Mustang. Hot damn, that's a good looking car. It's supposed to be a 1964 and a half Mustang. It's first year of production. Damn, that would have been a nice car. But no, when we got there, we parked in the TGI Fridays. A guy in a white carpet van pulled up next to us. Doug Cowden got out, got into the vehicle with him, and they drove around. And I'm asking my brother, what's up, dude? What the hell is going on here? Oh, he's just going to check out the car. He's probably gonna come back, and Doug's gonna drive the car back, and then we'll this and we'll that. Well, instead, Doug comes back and he gets into the vehicle and he says, all right, so it's a really nice cherry Mustang. He's also got a Fender Stratocaster for another $200. So I gave him an extra $200. That was all my money. Well, it turns out that the $900 that was supposed to go to buying a Mustang, and it was in his hands. My older brother was instrumental in getting that to happen. It's because my older brother and Doug had this idea that they were going to get a pound of weed and sell it in Chapel, Nebraska and make a bunch of money. Now, who's the person in Chapel, Nebraska they were selling the weed to? Dennis and Brenda Dickinson, who ran a second-hand store called El Shaddai. That's right, she named her store after God. And she pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes. Yeah, she was selling pot to me when I was 16. Yes, I was underage. I was also glad to have a place to smoke my pot without my little brother and Drake Chambers fucking stealing it. They stole my pot one day, and when I confronted them about it, my little brother and Drake Chambers thought that they were going to both beat me up at the same time. And, well, even with two of them trying to beat me up at the same time, they fucking lost. I bounced Drake Chambers off of a poster of Darth Vader. That was nice. I had a futon, but it wasn't my room anymore. My mom gave everything that I owned to my little brother. So, of course, I'm on that futon and I'm trying to dig for something that fell down underneath the futon. And of course, they put the actual futon down on top. I'm laying on the grates that are underneath the futon. You know, the part that the mattress sits on, and I'm reaching down in there. And you know, at this point, I'm having an argument with my little brother about being disrespectful and stealing my pot. I'm like, dude, fucking, you're my brother, all right? If you want to smoke my fucking pot, mom says it's all right for you to smoke pot. Mom is fine with Tara smoking pot. Mom is fine with Eric smoking pot. So if it's all right with mom, then yes, it's all right with me for you to smoke my pot. But it's not all right for you to fucking steal it. So of course they pushed the mattress down and fucking got on top of it and thought it was fucking hilarious. Thought they were gonna jump up and down on top of it. Oh fuck no, I was pissed. Drake Chambers tried to come in to fucking punch me in the face, and I fucking brought my knee up and fucking planted one right in the middle of his chest. I did the same thing to Michael, by the way. I separated his sternum. My mom was all sorts of pissed at me. You could have killed him! Well, shit, he was fucking tag teaming me. They fucking assaulted me for telling him it's not okay to steal my weed. Of course, my mom also, with that whole Munchausen syndrome thing, you know, she took care of other people's kids. She didn't take care of her own. I have to understand everybody else's problems and everybody else's issues. I am expected to understand them. No matter what, I am expected to. I am expected to go, oh, well, you know, I got to give these people leniency, and I got to give those people leniency, and I got to give these people the benefit of the doubt, and those people the benefit of the doubt. Do I get the benefit of the doubt? No. And to this day, fucking fighting hard to get people to look at the fucking evidence, and they won't. You know what? At least Lila tried. At least Kara tried. They just haven't tried to help me turn it in. Also, there's things that are going on that are definitely not my fault. And there's things that are going on that are definitely not their fault. It's not Kara's fault that my fucking computer won't work. It's not Lila's fault that my computer won't work. It's not my fault that Dallas didn't come forward. It's not my fault that Scott didn't come forward. It's not my fault that these people didn't keep their word. It's not my fault that they have the disabilities that they have. It's also not my choice for them to have family to help them out through that, or my choice to not have a family who cares. I'm glad that Scott, especially given his disabilities and how easy it is for somebody to victimize him and get away with it, I am extremely glad that he has family that gives a shit and will fucking do something, will speak up. Sure would be nice if I could have that. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. With all of the stuff that the cops told me when I tried to get help, well, they obviously lied to me about those things because they did those things for Natalie and her friends and family. They broke the law and committed felonies to help Natalie and her family get away with those felonies. They felt sorry for Natalie's family because her family pushed her to fucking commit suicide. Before I ever met Natalie, she was suicidal over her dad fucking raping her. She was cutting herself daily over her dad raping her and nobody listening. You guys want to sell this narrative that I've been stalking Natalie since she was 13. No. I was running Natalie off when she was 13. I wasn't hanging out with Natalie. She was selling drugs down there and coming up to the groups that I was in. Just like Maddie Boa. Maddie Boa was friends with Janine Barrett's son, Derek. And Joanna Taylor Smith. Joanna Taylor Smith and Derek Parrish are two of the people who said they were going to try to help me. Primarily Joanna Taylor Smith. What ended up happening in that situation? Joanna Taylor Smith and Derek Parrish got into an argument. And then Derek took it out on me for 3 fucking days, resulting in him assaulting me. On the bright side, Joanna Taylor Smith got the hammer that she wanted. Now here's my question. If you have to go to the jurisdiction that the crime was committed in, and I supposedly committed crimes, where were those crimes committed and why weren't they turned in there? When I was living at Ken and Leah's, she's got to go to Ken and Leah's for the protection order, doesn't she? According to what the cops told me. But then they changed it, didn't they? Sean Holloway changed the rules at least 3 separate times on that, didn't he? That's just one of Scott DeCosta's deputies. Yes, absolutely, I should kill my predators. Absolutely, I should kill Scott DeCosta. Absolutely, I should kill Leslie Snell. Absolutely, according to you. But I'm not you, Sarah Bacon. I'm not you, Candace Bondurant. And even you guys don't do those things. Candace, after saying that you would put a 45 between somebody's eyes if they did that shit, when Officer Michael Beard was the one who did that shit, did you put a 45 between his eyes or did you victimize me? Meanwhile, I didn't even know I had a court date. Why did Natalie win? Because I couldn't have fucking showed up to court if I had known I had a court date, I couldn't have shown up. I didn't have the money. But I wasn't informed that I had a court date. And I was pissed off that Natalie Bollinger was able to get a protection order all the way from Virginia, but I couldn't get one against Tim Beeson in the same fucking state. That's right. Tim Beeson was in the state of Colorado, threatening to kill me and my family while I'm in the state of Colorado. As far as I knew, Natalie was in fucking Virginia. People wanted to pretend, oh, you were walking by her house. No, I was walking from Ken and Leah's house at 3395 South Zuni, up Federal, all the way to Miss Peach's house on 120th and fucking Melody. Why don't you trace the fucking route, bitch? And then you want to claim that I was stalking her Facebook. You know what? You can see the messages between Natalie and I. While she was sending those messages to Tim Beeson, she's telling him something completely different from what she's telling me. That's how players work. If you're not down with helping me to end my life, and you're not down with actually helping me to turn in my predators in a timely and efficient manner, you're a horrible person, and you are the reason that this continues. You are the reason that this is perpetuated. You could have done something and chose not to. You said that you would, but then, of course, months after the fucking fact, you're still making excuses. Or changing the subject now. Oh, you were gonna, but now you're just gonna change the subject every time I bring it up. Make some excuse so that, oh, now I'm magically released from it. No, you're not. The abuse that I have been going through needs to be documented, or like I'm making it up. The witnesses need to go in and help me to turn it in, or I am going to be threatened, harassed, and intimidated and victimized for trying to turn it in. It doesn't matter if it's 2 years after the fucking fact, it's still a fucking fact. Now, if those 12 people, at least, who were witnesses to that situation, came forward, something would have fucking happened, but not one of them. To this day, Dallas has never come forward. He's on my YouTube channel. Most of these people are on my YouTube channel. Not one of them has gone in with me to turn this into the cops. Not one of them has made any effort to help me to turn this into the cops. Do I like Dallas? Yes. Dallas has told me repeatedly that he doesn't want me leaving. He likes me here. I like Dallas. I like Scott. I like Jared. I like all of these people. I like Natalie too. And Alicia and Maddie. But liking somebody doesn't mean that they're not going to fuck up. And it doesn't mean that their fuck ups or their bad assumptions aren't important. If you see a child in a vehicle and it's 120 degrees out and that vehicle is locked and there's no adult other than you anywhere around, you need to break that window to save that baby's life or that puppy's life. Now let's say that you broke that window to save a life. And the cops show up and they're friends with the guy whose window you just broke. Now you're getting charged with breaking and entering and destruction of property and attempted grand theft auto and a bunch of other shit because you did the right thing. So you record it. Now let's imagine you record it and they won't look at it. They won't even try to look at it. They're just going to lock you up. You're fine with them doing this to homeless people. And when they fuck up and that homeless person isn't homeless, like Zaid Atkinson or Sammy Leon Lawrence IV, that's when you guys actually care. The rules about jurisdiction changed over and over. If I was trying to turn in my predators, no matter what, I was always in the wrong jurisdiction, even if it happened in that jurisdiction. Meanwhile, I was served papers in Boulder. The only crimes committed in Boulder, having anything to do with the Natalie Bollinger situation, were committed by my predators. And of course, her dope customers. So when it comes to being served papers in Boulder, Colorado, I didn't live in Boulder, Colorado. I was lied to and enticed into going to Boulder, Colorado under false fucking pretenses. This is why there needs to be somebody there and present when there is an at-risk adult trying to turn in crimes against them. Between bitching at you assholes and turning these son of a bitches in, I would rather be making a phone call right now to turn these son of a bitches in and using this phone to record it as proof that I did so. Now we've got proof on my channel that these aren't bad people. We've got evidence that their excuses or reasons, I should say, and or reasons. Maybe it's an excuse, maybe it's an actual reason, maybe it's both. But you get to see that the reality of the situation is, as I said it was, it's not some delusion. Scott is not some schizophrenic delusion that I had. Jared is not some schizophrenic delusion that I had. Caleb is not some schizophrenic delusion that I had. These are actual people. Just like Joanna Taylor Smith isn't some schizophrenic delusion that I had. Just like Mark Townsend is not some schizophrenic delusion that I had. Just like Tabitha Michelle Cook is not some schizophrenic delusion that I had. Just like Graham Milborn is not some schizophrenic delusion that I had. These people are actually recorded, actually on my channel. They're actual voices. Them actually verifying the fact that I told the truth about these situations and about them. And I got people saying, oh, well, I don't know what more I can do. Fucking, it's already on your YouTube channel. Yes, but it's not in court. The courts are ignoring all of the evidence on my YouTube channel. It's on my YouTube channel so the public can see it and help me to turn it in. But instead, all I've got is predators and fucking bullshitters. And meanwhile, the laws when it comes to getting a protection order were not followed at any point in time. They broke the law to help Natalie Bollinger get a protection order, and they broke the law to prevent me from getting one. You know what it's like when you're a disabled person and you have to be afraid of these people victimizing you, but you have to turn in these predators or they're never going to stop. And when you go to turn in these predators, you're victimized by the police because you had to go in alone again. Or how about when Kayla Trujillo says that she'll go in with you, just set up the appointment. And you finally set up the appointment. And when you get to the door is when she says she's not going in with you because she's got her son with her. And then the cops, they make whatever excuse that they want. They sell whatever narrative they want. And when you don't come forward about the fact that you didn't keep your word because your son was there with you, they get away with selling that bullshit narrative. And since you didn't go in with me, they got to break the law like I knew that they would. I would not have gone to that appointment if Miss Peaches had told the truth. If she had told the truth and said, Sean, I'm not going to go in with you and help you turn it in, I wouldn't have gone because I had to be afraid. And when it was the last minute and she just dumped me off there, yeah, at that point, at least I tried. At least I tried to get them to look at evidence, but without Miss Peaches there, they weren't gonna. She went out of her way to help my predators. She set it up for me to believe that she was going to help me and go in with me. And then she dropped me off there all alone. Now these people want to pretend like I'm a horrible person for admitting to the fucked up shit that they did. And then they want to throw stuff that they did in my face. Like, oh, Sean, I did this and I did that. Yeah, but you didn't tell the fucking cops. The cops treated me like I was a fucking liar because you never came forward. Brandon fucking Ratner, you fucking piece of shit. I'm not going to apologize because I don't have a pussy for you to fuck, Brandon.